So welcome to BA Shop Talk. This is the show for the everyday BA, the business analyst. And today we have our guest, our special guest is Vajrang. And let me just, Bilakurti, is that correct?
You can call me Vajrang, that should be fine.
Yeah, but Vajrang Bilakurti, is that right?
Bilakurti.
Bilakurti, yes.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard last name to some Latinos and they don't know how to, say my name. They're Arriagada, even people from our own culture, right?
That's the reason I prefer Tony most of the times.
I noticed when people do that, they're like, hey, Tony. They don't never say the last name.
Yeah.
So today we have Vajrang, and he's a good friend of mine who's more of a coach for RPA, but he's an expert. And I want you guys to be able to meet him in the BA world, and the reason why I'm having this interaction with him in this fireside type of chat, as Eno will put it, is so you can get a perspective from a developer's point of view of how to build up your requirements. And so with that in mind, we're going to ask Vajrang a couple of questions. And but before we get into the questions, I would like to ask you, Vajrang, to talk about what made you decide to go into RPA as a developer. Tell us more about your background.
I cannot say that it's my choice, but it's the requirement for my organization for me to do a specific task in RPA. So that's how I moved from a different, so I am a team lead, and prior to that I'm completely a front-end developer. So from then I moved into RPA space, and then I continued, I became a team lead, and now I am doing good in RPA.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so so how long has it been since you've been actually, developing RPA solutions?
It's been 4+ years, close to 4+ years.
4+ years? Wow,
yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
And then the other question I have is that, so in your projects, do you guys have business analysts, architects, and the other positions? What kind of positions do you see mostly in some of your projects?
So normal project hierarchy, we do have the same. We do have a business analyst who will be continuously in touch with the actual business owners and the business leaders who give us, or we can say them as the SMEs mostly. So subject matter experts. So business analyst will be in touch with them mostly. And those are the people who can give us the projects. And business analyst, the main goal of business analyst to me is to identify what are the opportunities within a business, and pick up those opportunities and do a quick feasible check whether that particular opportunity can be developed, or do we have any roadblocks in it, and all the ideas that a business owner has. Business owner cannot talk a language of a developer.
Right. Exactly.
Because they exactly don't know. All they will say, or all they will inform to the business analyst is, okay, this is the input that I have, and I do have so and so output. So how can you achieve it with an RPA? Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that a business owner can say if they are not aware of what RPA is, if they are new to RPA. But as we move on further, and as the project matures, and as their COE also matures enough, then they will start talking the RPA language. They will start talking on the boards, they will start talking on the servers, they will start talking on what is the time complexity, everything. They will definitely talk, but it will take time for sure.
That's good. That's good to hear, especially for those BAs who seek to understand RPA. And it's good to understand RPA from my experience by actually working with the developers and understanding the process of the business. So
yes, exactly.
But starting with the understanding the process. So that leads me to this next question. when you're starting in the process in the beginning as a VA, I know that I'm going to get some initial documentation on how the
Yeah,
process works and if it's a good opportunity before it becomes, something that we can work on. So
correct.
in your perspective as a developer, how
Mhm.
do you um, how do you know what's a good candidate for an RPA solution?
Okay, so to make sure if the project is a good candidate or not, um, I would say if you are starting new as a business, or if you are starting a new project, or if you don't have any COE, or if you don't have any project so far, and if you're starting new, then go with the process that is straightforward, nothing with AI. And people tend to start with machine learning, and people tend to start with NLP, all the algorithms. They try to implement that in the first project, which I would say is that will definitely fail at the end, because they don't know what is the essence they are going to bring in into their process. First, they don't know if the process is standard or not.
So
So if
so
they
when
don't know if the process is not standard, and if they are not sure if it is standard or not, they need to make sure first the process is standardized. So how you can ask me what are the, so how can you say that the project is standardized and the process is standardized?
right. So
um,
say for instance, what you're saying, and this is for the BAs out there. I'm going to speak some
mm,
BA language. So
sure,
what you're saying is that it has to be well-defined business rules in that process. Is that correct?
true, correct.
Okay, so that's what Vajrang means by that is the process cannot be all over the place. It has to be well-defined. And in order to find that solution, those business rules and understanding that, because RPA works off of the business rules, and Vajrang is really saying that, it's if you're starting off with this opportunity, you shouldn't start off with machine learning. Get used to these type of solutions because it's all hyper automation. Uh,
Yes.
and don't start off with NLP. Start off with something. If you're going into RPA or any type of automation, with something that's well defined, so you can get used to this type of technology. Um, and thank
So
you.
one more thing I would like to bring in here when you're saying about hyper automation. So that's a nice coined word, very niche word that I can say, um, where it's put forth by the business. That's fine. Okay, what exactly is hyper automation? No one knows. Even the person who coined it may not know it properly. What exactly it is,
That's
right?
true.
That's because see now. Let's assume that since I am working as an RPA developer, I have seen the growth of the tools and technologies that are there in the market for the past few years.
Mhm.
And initially from scripting in an Excel, then we moved into some tools like Selenium automation and all. Then we moved right now into RPA technologies. And I'm sure that Automation Anywhere is earlier a testing tool, which was later converted into a complete RPA tool.
Right.
Right. So they are also developing. Now, when we coin the word hyper automation, what comes in a hyper automation? See, I would like to bring it like this, where we have mobile technologies. In mobile technologies, we have 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G.
Right.
They have specific standards, like this is the speed that it should achieve, and this is the compatibility that it need to take place when it is moved from 3G to 4G or 4G to 5G. Now, what is the we can say what is the parameters that you're saying that it is a hyper automation that you require? If you
Uh-huh.
bring in some AI algorithm, and if you make an API call, and if you get back some result, is it called a hyper automation?
No, it's you're just doing the research. You're doing the research on it. For me, it's just like uh, hyper automation is the combination of using the different technologies that are part of like automation. Like if you integrate like RPA in the beginning of a process, and then there's some document interpretation that's pretty
Hmm.
standardized, but it's not on a fax, but it's something that's electronic. and then the machine learning can use an algorithm to understand and interpret, what's on the.
Exactly. So you again brought up a word like machine learning and algorithms and artificial intelligence. See, again, every time someone is talking about hyper automation, they are coming back saying that, okay, I will implement NLP, or I will implement machine learning, or I will implement AI. So what should you use to make it as hyper automation? Should you use everything, or should you use only one? What makes it hyper
That's
automation?
true. That's a good point.